Untap Upkeep, and welcome back to the channel if you've been here before, and if you haven't, then please sit back, relax, and enjoy our show today. So I am continuing on with another deck, finally, after having some bad weather roll through the area the past couple of days. So this is finally nice to be able to get back and make you all another video. So what I'm going for this build, this is again another challenge from our local game store. The high end of the budget is $90, and the low end, I believe, is like 50 or so, somewhere around there. And I got another request from another one of the players that are going to be in the tournament to build him something wild and off the wall, should we say. With that, let's jump into what I've come up with. So, I've been wanting to build Helga for a while. Excuse me. And there's multiple ways you could build Helga, and I thought my way would be completely insane. And we're gonna try it. We're gonna see how he does. So, this is Helga the Skittish Seer. She's a white, green, and a blue for a 1/3 Frog Druid. So whenever you cast a creature spell with mana value 4 or greater, you get to draw a card, gain 1 life, and put a 1/1 counter on Helga. Okay, so that initially, when you read that for her ability, you're just kind of like, okay, big deal. What's going on here? Well, then she has another ability that makes it really interesting. So add X mana of any one color, where X is Helga Skittish Seer's power. Spend this mana only to cast creature spells with mana value 4 or greater, or creature spells with X or mana cost. So that last part is going to become like our key win condition once we are able to generate basically infinite mana. And you'll see why in a minute. Let's get an idea of where we're going to go with Helga. So the idea that we're going to go with her, go away, is we're trying to basically go and make infinite mana to not necessarily draw our whole deck. We have a way to stop that if we hit the right combination of creatures, and we're just trying to make it basically infinite mana and just nuke the board, nuke the player probably. So we only have one Planeswalker because she fits very well with this build, and this is Kiora Behemoth Beckoner. So for 2, a blue or a green, we get a 7 mana Planeswalker with no uptick, only down. So we have limited time with her, but we're probably not ever going to down tick her unless we absolutely have to. She's really in here because whenever a creature with power 4 or greater enters the battlefield under our control, we can draw a card. So that is going to be very tricky to get around and not deck ourselves completely. But let's jump deeper into the creature pool and see what exactly am I doing with this wild monstrosity. So we're running Acidic Slime, a 5 mana 2/2, not that great, has Death Touch, whoop-de-doo. But when it enters, we're able to blow up an artifact, enchantment, or a land. So this can hit a couple of problematic pieces that could be on the battlefield. Aether Channeler allows us to choose a couple of different modes, or a mode from a couple of different modes from when he enters the battlefield. So we can either make a 1/1 bird, pardon me, we can draw a card, or more importantly, return another target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. This means we can actually bounce Kiora back to our hand if we absolutely have to, or if we have everything set up and it looks like we're going to draw the deck too much, we're able to bounce Helga back. This is the Golden Star, the Mega Bomb, the ancient golden Buddha dragon statue, whatever you want to call this. This is one of the big pieces in the whole deck. This is Ancestral Statue. So for 4 mana, we get a 3/4 golem. Nothing special, nothing all that fancy about it. But whenever it enters the battlefield, return a non-land permanent you control to its owner's hand. So yes, this can bounce Helga back. This can bounce a couple of other permanents back that we need to in order to keep ourselves from decking ourselves. But more importantly, when Helga is able to generate at least 4 mana from just casting this, we're able to net mana and continue to go. And that's very, very important, and you'll see why in just a minute. You have a couple of mana dorks with like Abyssin's Pilgrim, Elvish Visionary, Latin War Elves. There's even a Fainhorn Elves. We are running Sucker Tribe Elder, and we're running Neverwinter Dryad. We're a very, very creature-heavy deck, and it's got a very, very good reason. Beast Whisperer, anytime we cast a creature spell, it doesn't even have to resolve as soon as we cast. This ability goes onto the stack. We're able to draw a card, so we're able to keep our dig power going because we don't run any tutors in this deck. So we're just trying to draw and get to what we need as fast as possible. Breaching Hippocamp is another way to untap Helga when it comes into the battlefield, and we can do it at flash speed. Fierce Empath. This allows us to go find one of two very, very juicy targets, and you can see one right below it. So it enters, we may search our library for a creature card with mana value 6 or greater, reveal it, put it into our hand, and shuffle. We're going to go find either the Hullbreaker Horror or his best friend a little bit later in the video. So if we go find the Hullbreaker Horror, we don't have to worry about him being countered. He has flash, so we can do it at flash speed. And whenever you cast a spell, choose up to one. Return target spell you don't control to its owner hand, or return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. So if at some point it looks like we are going to deck ourselves, once again, we have an outlet. We have a way to say, no, we're not doing that. And that's very, very handy. We already went over the Elvish Mystic. We also have a Defier of Vigor, which synergizes sort of with our commander. I mean, it's just a big, dumb 5-mana 6/6 trampling beast. And yeah, you could pay 2 life for one of the green pips. We don't care about that. We care about the fact that whenever you cast a green permanent spell, you put a 1 counter on each creature you control. So every time we're casting something with green, that is a permanent, which you can tell we have quite a few of them here, we're able to grow Helga and help move our train forward. Chulane, the Teller of Tales, was a very, very big piece I had to put into this deck. So originally Chulane is very, very powerful and can do horrible, nasty things on its own as its own commander. And for a while, it was a CEDH level deck. But I didn't want to build that. I wanted to build something different, something kind of wacky and wonky. And so I chose Helga and threw Chulane into the 99. So for 2 white, blue, green, we get a 2/4 human druid. Kind of odd that they're both druids, actually. That has vigilance, and more importantly, whenever you cast a creature spell, draw a card, then you may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. You notice it doesn't say tapped. So we could do some pretty dumb shenanigans here in just a moment. And then for 3 mana, tap it, we can turn target creature to our owner's hand. So we can bounce anything that we think could be eaten by board wipe. We could bounce something that looks like it could be, again, a way to make us draw our entire deck. This is another big key piece to the whole combination that we have going here. I think that's why this deck is really going to be interesting, is we're not just like A-B combo, we're like A-B-C-D combo. It takes a lot of pieces to get this engine up and running. So I don't mind that it goes infinite because it takes a minute to get all the pieces to function. So we don't care about the partner thing because it's never going to be part of this deck. But for 5 mana, we get a 2/4 Elemental Hound that says whenever you cast a spell during our turn, untap target creature. So if we continuously cast the Ancestral Statue with This Is on the Battlefield and Helga, we can generate infinite mana. Because every time we cast the statue, we bounce it back to our hand. The Retriever says, hey, you cast a spell, untap something that you would like. We're going to untap Helga and just keep our train moving and going and just being dumb. The Brutalizer Exarch is a 6 mana 3/3. Yeah, that's a lot of mana. But when he enters the battlefield, we get to choose one. Search our library for our creature card, reveal it, then shuffle our library and put that card on top. Or put target non-creature permanent on the bottom of its owner's library. So if we already have the Hullbreaker Horror or his best friend, or any other particular piece that we're trying to get, even something like the Chakram Retriever, we can always use him to tuck something else underneath the deck that could potentially cause us to lose the game. It could even hit something that could be a problem for us as long as it's not a creature. And we'll be good. We're good. You notice it doesn't say non-land, it says non-creature, which I find very, very interesting. Forgotten Ancient, everybody kind of knows what he does. Whenever somebody casts a spell, he gets 1/1 counters, and then at the beginning of our upkeep, we're able to move any number of those counters onto another creature. So if he's out, while Helga's out, we're generating a lot of 1/1 counters, which she cares about how big she is, and then we can dump all those onto her and just start doing dumb shenanigans. Already went over the fact that we have Thin-Horn Elves. Garuk's Pack Leader allows us to draw a card whenever we have a creature power 3 or greater enter the battlefield under our control. It is a May ability. Do not overlook that. It is a May. You do not have to. We are going to be drawing a bunch of cards just from the commander and a couple of other pieces. So don't sit there and go, oh, well, I got to draw a card. No. It's a May. Yalta, I mean, figured why not? Big, dumb 12/12 Dino. If nothing else, it's a 12/12 trampling beat stick. The Fae Trickster here is really interesting. It's from Foundations. It has Flash, so we can cast it at instant speed. And this is why I liked it in this deck. So it has Flying, and then whenever you may cast spells as though they had Flash. So we're able to instant speed kind of start going. Now, it doesn't work with the Retriever, but it will work with like Hullbreaker Horror. So if the Hullbreaker Horror, this, and Helga are out, we're still able to go infinite. We're still able to win because this allows us to do things at instant speed. Oh, no, it doesn't work. Never mind. Well, I mean, I guess it does because we can actually just start bouncing everybody else's stuff back to their hands and just laugh maniacally because eventually we're going to draw into like other pieces that we need. We could generate mana in another infinite way, and we'll show you here in just a moment. Muldrifter, just a nice 5 mana to draw 2 cards. We can even evoke it for its 3 mana cost. Helga will still see it as a 5 mana cost because it cares about the top right corner, not the evoke. So even at 3 mana, we still get a counter, we still get to draw a card from that, still get to gain a life, and more importantly, we'll draw 2 more cards thanks to the Muldrifter, whether it lives or dies. What about Llanowar else being in the deck? Kutzel, again, anything that has white-green X, I love to throw it in here because it stops people from interacting with us on our turn. We're probably never going to draw cards with this thing. I don't see a potential in it, but maybe. Peruga, the big dino hippo, I thought would be hilarious in here. So when it enters the battlefield, we draw a card for each other permanent we control with mana value 3 or greater. Pardon me. That is going to be pretty much the entire deck. I don't know if you can hear that, but the motorcycle just went by. Pretty nice day out today, so I've got the window open, enjoying some nice fresh air. If you're not doing that, why aren't you? We have Inga and Essica. So for 2 white, not white, 2 blue-green, we have a wonderful 4/4 human god that says creatures you control have vigilance, so now we can attack freely. And then they have also got the other ability of tap, add 1 of any color, spend this mana only to cast a creature spell. We're running a lot of creatures. We're running like 33 creatures in this deck, 34 creatures, something like that. So that's not exactly out of the realm of possibility. But we also have, whenever you cast a creature spell, if 3 or more mana from a creature was spent to cast it, we get to draw a card. So essentially, if we start tapping our creatures to play other creatures, we're able to draw more cards and just keep our hand full and keep our pain train going. Hydroid Crisis, my goodness, I cannot speak today. Just a simple, really nice card draw spell and life gain spell. For every amount we pour into X, we get half of that. So if you put a total of, let's say, 8 mana, so 1 blue, 1 green, and 6, we get to draw 3 and gain 3. But it's still going to come into play with 6 1/1 counters on it, not just half. So at that point, for 8 mana, we get a 6/6 flying trample creature to start hitting face. Never a bad thing. Overcharged Amalgam is a flash speed flying zombie horror. And we can exploit a creature, which we're not really too sad about doing that if it's like a mana dork or something, you know, or even something that, again, could potentially cause us to lose the game. We're not exactly that sad about it. We could even extort Timeless Witness if we need to get something back if it was blown up. But this says whenever this creature exploits a creature, counter target spell, activated ability, or even a triggered ability. So this is just a nice way to instant speed say, I don't think so. we're still winning. It's basically a creature counter spell. Peregrine Drake is another way to generate infinite mana. So when it enters the battlefield, untap up to 5 lands. As long as we have a way to constantly bounce this, we're in generating more and more mana. We're able to just win the game through here. Peregrine Drake is another way to instantly just continuously bounce something. So if we need a way to just help like clear the board with like Hullbreaker Horror, we can just continuously play this and just start bouncing the board. The big brother to the Hullbreaker Horror is the Tide Spout Tyrant. So again, for a lot of mana, 8 mana, 5 of it's got to be anything we want, and 3 of it's got to be blue. Whew. We get a 5/5 flying Djinn, which is not that great. But it says whenever you cast a spell, return target permanent to its owner's hand. So that is another way with like Shrieking Drake and a few other pieces, as you've seen in the deck, we're able to generate basically infinite mana and just keep the board clear. And if nothing else, we can just start turning our stuff sideways, and good luck. I mean, it even protects our board because we can bounce him and any other piece we want to and just go, okay, well, board wipes don't hurt us. We talked about Timeless Witness a little bit, so when it enters, we're able to return target card from our graveyard to our hand, and we can pay 5 green to exile it and make a 4/4 zombie creature token version of it, so that's not bad. Venser, the Shaper Servant. It has flash, and when it enters the battlefield, return target spell or permanent to its owner's hand. So we can cast this at flash speed if it looks like, again, we're going to mill out, and just say no. I don't think so. It can even stop a counterspell. Nope, you're not countering that. It's going back to your hand. So this is the big daddy. This is our main way to win. This is the big bad Walking Ballista. So for double X, he enters the battlefield with X rolling counters on it. Meaning, if you pay X, and X is going to equal 1 apiece. He comes into play with 1, and so on and so forth. You have to pay double that to get him up to where you need. So for 4 mana, you get a 2/2. For 6 mana, you get a 3/3, so on and so forth. We can pay 4 mana to put a 1/1 counter on it. Great, love it. You're probably sitting there thinking to yourself, why do we even care? I'll tell you why. Because if we remove a 1/1 counter from the Ballista, we get to do 1 damage to any target. So this is how we're going to go infinite, make infinite mana, generate a monstrosity huge Walking Ballista, and just machine gun everybody to the grave. That's all we care about. Everybody dead. Everybody. So, Walking Ballista is a very big key piece to this deck, but I fully believe that with all of our creatures and Tidal Spout Tyrant and the Hullbreaker Horror, we're able to keep the board clear and at the very least turn in with our big dumb idiots. Very few sorceries and instants in this deck. Search for Tomorrow we could cast on turn 1. By turn 3, we can get another land, so that's not bad. And actually, it doesn't say it has to come into battlefield tapped, so we could potentially get our commander out pretty quick. Rampant Growth and Forest Seek are just a couple more ramp pieces. Puridane allows us to fix the top of our deck and draw a card. Of course, we have to have at least one board right with Austere Command. We're running a couple of counter spells with Offer You Can't Refuse, Literal Factual Counterspell, and Negate. We have a couple of removal pieces with Path to Exile, Source Plowshares. Consider allows us to draw cards and fix the top card of our deck, as well as Think Twice, allowing us to draw cards. Growth Spiral allows us to draw a card and play an additional land if we are later in the game. More importantly, we have Tyvar Stand, Tamio Safekeeping, and Snakeskin Veil to protect our commander or even another potential combo piece, so we can still just combo off and win the game. Pretty standard sweep of mana rocks and artifacts. We're not running too many of them. We have, as you can see, our usual signet pieces, our Soul Ring, running a Talisman of Unity, the Mind Stone, Prismatic Lens, and Thought Vessel. These I have questioned because they only generate colorless, but we'll see how they go. We're running Lightning Greaves, Lava Spur Boots, and Swiftfoot Boots to help protect our commander. She is our bread and butter. We're running Garruk's Uprising to draw cards and give our stuff trample, so even, Helga could get Helga could get ridiculously huge, and I mean, she might kill with commander damage. I don't know. We'll see what happens. This is another reason I wanted to build this deck, though, is Intruder Alarm. So with Shrieking Drake, Intruder Alarm, and Helga, we can basically still generate infinite mana and still draw through our deck. So we're able to have this on the battlefield. Creatures don't untap during their controller's untap step. However, whenever a creature enters the battlefield, untap all creatures. So we can just sit there and play Solitaire, keep our train going, generate a stupid amount of mana, and walk in Ballista. Goodbye. See you later. So I really wanted to find a home for Intruder Alarm, and that's why I built this deck predominantly. Is thought Helga plus Intruder Alarm is just so stupid, and just it had to be done. It had to be. Our mana package is, pretty standard you would see for something like this. We're running quite a bit of basics to keep the cost down. You can always switch out the mana base and make it better. The only notable things I would actually point out is we're running the Modern Horizons 3 fetch land. I do feel it's better than Evolving Wilds and Terramorphic Expanse, but it's just a little choice. We're running Scavenger Ground in case there's other graveyard decks that are trying to do shenanigans. We can stop them. And of course, a Reliquary Tower because we want no max hand size. We want double the max hand size with Thought Vessel. We want to be able to draw all the cards and do all the things. But this is Helga, the Skittish Seer, Blinky Blink. Our mana curve is ridiculously dumb if you sit here and look at it. Just wow. We're very light on our white pips, but we still have to have a good amount of white mana. Pardon me, to be able to drop our commander out on time. Which, by the way, that does bring me up to the next point. First of all, this is actually decent, I guess. Could guarantee our commander. We can guarantee go find something. Yeah, I mean, they would have won probably. But predominantly, this is not the kind of deck that you want to just jam the commander ASAP. You really kind of want to have a way to either go off or preferably protect her with even something simple like Lava Spur Boots. You want to be able to protect her and give her haste and be able to start chaining everything to do our horrible, nasty thing to everybody. By the way, this hand is not keepable, not a landed sight. Neither is that one. That one's better. Put that to the bottom. So, okay. Oh yeah, we would have lost that one. So, we also want to make sure we have green mana because green mana is our main focus to be able to find our other sources and filter through the deck a little bit. As you can see, we're a little wonky, a little janky, but I think it's got potential to be like a really, really fun deck, I think. Especially on a budget. I mean, come on. Work with me here. We're on a budget. If we weren't on a budget, this deck would be probably $250, $500 easy just because Helga could do some really, really broken things, and she's really, really good in my opinion. But this is Helga, the Skittish Seer. This is Big Dumb Idiots infinite mana combo kind of style. But let me know what you think about Helga. What is she something you haven't thought about building before? Is she something that you've kind of looked at and gone, hey, you know what, that might be kind of interesting, and then see me do this and go, okay, if you can do that on a budget, what can you do with no budget restrictions? Well, you can do a lot, trust me. So let me know in the comments. Let me know. Like, share, comment, subscribe if you haven't. If you're watching my shorts, if you're watching any of my content, please just go ahead and subscribe. It doesn't hurt you any. It helps me. It helps YouTube be able to pay me so I can make more content for you. I have other things I'm working on, but I need your love, I need your help, and I need your support. So please like, share, subscribe. Do all the things that make YouTube happy. And for those that already have, I thank you so very much for all the love. And we will hopefully see how this deck does in the upcoming tournament at my local game store. I have been the Buddha Dragon. You've been my beautiful audience. Remember, rub that belly for mana, and may your games always be filled with luck. Until the next time.